In previous class, we have seen call by value. Before discussing call by reference, let us see the topic objects as parameters to methods or constructors. So far, we have only been using simple types as a parameters to methods or constructors. It is common to pass objects to methods or constructors. This is the syntax of method to accept object as a parameter. It is similar to normal method definition, but in this parameter list, we need to pass object type. Means here we need to pass the class name like person or student and parameter name. Then we have to write the method body. Let us see one example. We have already seen person class. Let us use the person class here. This is the person class with two properties, name and age. Here this is the constructor to initialize the object data, name and age. Here I am taking another class object parameter demo to create the objects for the person class. Let us create two person objects. Then two person objects will be created. Like this, two objects will be created with the provided data, and two reference variables p1 and p2 will be created within the main method activation record. They will be pointing to the object created in this heap area. Here we want to compare the ages of these two persons p1 and p2. Now let us add one instance method to compare the ages of two person objects in the person class. Here compare age is one instance method. It will compare the age of the current object with the age of the another object which is passed as an argument to this method. Here we are writing very simple logic. Let us call this method. We can call that instance method compare age like this. p1 dot compare age. Here we are passing this p2 object as parameter to that instance method compare age. When this compare age method call is made, on top of this main method activation record, another activation record will be created for the compare age method. When this statement executed, this person to object reference will be passed to the compare age method. That reference will be stored within this local variable obj. This p1 and p2 are the reference variables. They will hold the addresses of these two objects. Real addresses will not be something like this, but for understanding here we are. This p2 reference value 2000 will be copied into this local variable obj. Hence this compare age method called on this p1 object. So p1 reference will be implicitly available to this compare age method with this keyword. Now by using this keyword we can access this current object p1. So to compare the ages of these two objects, we can access this person one object age with this dot age and this second person object age by using this obj dot age. Since this obj is pointing to the second object. Let us run this program. John is younger than the Aaron. Here this dot age means here it is 1. It is less than the obj dot age 5. So this statement will be John is younger than Aaron. We have seen how to pass objects as parameters to methods. Let us see how we can pass objects as parameters to constructors. Objects as parameters most widely used in while writing constructors. Suppose we want to construct a new object that is initially same as the existing object. To do this, you must define a constructor that takes an object of its class as parameter. Copy constructor is a special constructor for creating new object as copy of an existing object. Let us define copy constructor in our person class. Here we have already parameterized constructor. Let us define copy constructor. Let me copy this. Here instead of passing each attribute, we need to pass the object which is of type person. This dot name equal to obj dot name. Similarly, this dot age equal to obj dot age. This is the copy constructor. Here we have two person objects p1 and p2. We want to create another person object p3 by using copy constructor from this existing object p1. person P3. Here we are passing existing object P1. To check the contents of this P3, let us write print details method. Let us call that print details method on this object. Let us run this program. We can write copy constructor like this. Here just we are using existing object as parameter. This existing object data copied into new object. We have already seen methods can accept objects as parameters. Methods can also return objects. Take a simple scenario. Suppose I want to prepare a voter list based on the existing person objects. A person who is above age 18 can be added in the voter list. I want to create one method which will accept person as argument. It will check whether person's age greater than 18. If greater than 18, it will create one new person and returns that newly created object. Then that newly created object will be added to the voter list. Prepare a voter list based on the existing persons. Let me write one method. It needs to return the object. So return type should be person. This is the instance method. So this instance variable name and age will be available to this method. Based on this name and age, we are constructing new person object if person age is greater than 18. If age less than 18, we cannot treat him or her as a voter, so we will return null. Let me change the age of this person one to 20. Then he will be added in the voter list. Call that create voter method. If that person age greater than 18, then new person will be created, will be returned here. Since it is written in the voters, so let us create one array to store the voters, which is of type person. So the return value will be stored within this array. Each of these method calls will return the one person object. If person age is above 18, then it will return the one person object that will be stored in this voter list. In this class, we have seen how to pass objects as parameters to methods. Then we have seen copy constructor. Then we have seen how to write methods which can return the object. If we want to print this voter list, if p not equal to null, then print the person details. Here, two persons P1 and P3 both have age greater than 18, so these two will be printed. Let me run this. Name John, age 20.